Well, there are
I'm just
cases.
asking you to explain to me why having to prove you are who you say you are before you vote doesn't serve, you said it doesn't serve any legitimate state interest. I'm just asking you to explain that statement to me.
All right, guys, buckle up tight. This one's a straight up classic. I'm about to break down one of the most frustrating, yet absolutely legendary, exchanges I've ever seen in a Senate Judiciary hearing. Senator John Kennedy doing exactly what he does better than anybody, firing off simple, common sense questions at people who pull down six-figure salaries just to dance around them. The witness, Nancy Abudu, nominated for a lifetime seat on the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Quick backstory. Before this, she was a top lawyer at the Southern Poverty Law Center, the group that loves slapping hate group labels on pretty much anyone who doesn't line up with their politics. Kennedy's mission here, super straightforward. He just wants to know if she thinks basic election security, like showing photo ID, is racist. Her answers, murkier than Louisiana swamp water on a foggy morning. Let's dive in. This is Kennedy at his absolute peak.
What is the selective incorporation doctrine?
That also, in the voting rights or civil rights context, is a term that I haven't had to come across. But what I do know is that as a legal research and writer, and for sure confronting possibly new areas of law, I look very forward to doing my due diligence in terms of making sure I'm familiar with doctrines such as that one.
Do you know what it is?
So no, I'm not familiar with it sitting here
Selective
today.
incorporation doctrine? Okay. Well, you're going to see a lot of it if you're confirmed on the 11th Circuit. Can Congress pass any law that the Constitution doesn't prohibit?
Based on the frame of your question, I would say yes, that sounds right.
So you think Congress has plenary power?
Well, I would first look to what the Supreme Court has said in terms of following precedent.
No, but I'm interested, if I could, Counselor, in your opinion. Does the United States Congress have delegated powers or plenary power?
Well, the Congress has both, I would say, from my general understanding. Again, it depends on the context and the issue, but
Okay.
it is.
Can you explain the difference to me between strict scrutiny and intermediate scrutiny?
Senator, strict scrutiny is the highest level of scrutiny that's often applied in constitutional cases.
What's the definition? I'm sorry, go ahead. Excuse me.
So it requires that a state, when enacting a law or regulation, have a compelling governmental interest for doing so, and that the law is narrowly tailored to achieve that interest.
Okay.
And then intermediate, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so intermediate speaks to the issue of having a substantial interest or that is, or an important governmental interest that is substantially related.
Okay. Do you believe that the meaning of the Constitution is immutable, or does it change over time?
Senator, I would say that the Supreme Court in some cases has analyzed that issue, and the response really does depend on the context and the issue. But what the court does or has done in its approach, of course, is look to the plain meaning of a statute or of the Constitution, because that really is where the inquiry should start. And if the language is plain, then that is where the inquiry can end.
Okay, thank you for that. You were involved in a 2021 report from the Southern Poverty Law Center about voting in Louisiana. Did you say, quote, racist white Southerners, close quote, and, quote, hostile white voters and governmental officials in Louisiana continue to make local polling places and early voting locations threatening spaces for black voters? Did you say that?
Senator, I do not believe that I said that. I haven't read that publication in some time.
Will you help write it?
I helped to draft the publication and approved it, but I'm not familiar with that language.
You don't? Okay. In that same report, did you say, well, tell me where in Louisiana local polling places and early voting locations are threatening African American voters. You said it, so which polling places?
So again, Senator, obviously I don't have that report in front of me to be able to read and remind myself of the examples that might have been shared. But what I can say is that Louisiana.
Let me cut you off because I'm going to run out of time, Counselor. Let me ask you one more. In August 2021, we're not talking 20 years ago, we're talking 2021, you were involved in another report by the SPLC. And you said that voter identification, photo ID to vote, is burdensome and does not serve any legitimate state interest. Do you really believe that?
Senator, identification for voting is something.
Yes, but first, do you really believe that? You said it. You meant it?
The Supreme Court in Crawford v. Marion County has already upheld voter ID laws as per se
Yeah, but you said it didn't serve any legitimate state interest. Do you believe that?
Again, Senator, without that language in front of me, it's hard to understand the context.
You said it. Here it is, August 2021.
Well, there are cases.
I'm just asking you to explain to me why having to prove you are who you say you are before you vote doesn't serve, you said it doesn't serve any legitimate state interest. I'm just asking you to explain that statement to me.
Are you kidding me right now? Is it just me, or did we just witness a masterclass in the infamous Washington wiggle? Come on, let's be real. Kennedy's out here asking the exact questions every single sane American at home is yelling at their screen. He hits her with, is requiring photo ID to vote voter suppression. Simple. Yes or no? You either believe it is, or you don't. But instead of a straight answer, we get this long, meandering lecture on precedent, case law, judicial philosophy, the full word salad special. She's basically saying, I can't possibly share what I think, because I'm going to be a judge. No, sweetheart, you're a nominee right now. We're trying to figure out if you're about to become an activist in a black robe. We already know what she wrote and said at the SPLC. She called voter ID laws vestiges of Jim Crow. She used that loaded phrase for years. But the second those Senate lights hit her face, poof, she suddenly can't define the very terms she's built her entire career around. And then, the part that really lights my fuse, the citizenship question. Kennedy asks point blank, is it voter suppression to require someone to prove they're a U.S. citizen before they vote? She won't say no. She won't say, of course it's not. Only citizens should vote and they should have to prove it. She just dodges. Again, if you can't look a senator dead in the eye and agree that only American citizens should vote, and that they should have to prove it, you have no business getting a lifetime appointment on the federal bench. Kennedy's face at the end. Pure gold. He's exhausted. He's done with the nonsense. He's staring at a woman who spent years slandering the South, slandering our election laws, and now wants us to buy that she'll suddenly be this neutral, impartial judge. Give me a break. This is exactly why we love John Kennedy. He doesn't let these beltway elites slither away with their word salads and non-answers. He corners them, forces them to show their true colors by proving they literally can't answer a simple yes or no question without squirming. So hit the comments right now. After watching that clip, do you think Nancy Abudu is an activist or a judge? Because for me, the answer couldn't be clearer. If you're fed up with the double talk and love seeing common sense fight back hard, smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. We're keeping it real and keeping the nonsense exposed. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.